Okay, first of all, I love that this plant behind me makes me look like I have crazy hair. If you're not watching, watch. Hello, and welcome to Frequency Broad Season 6. I am Tara. I am here with my lovely co-host Victoria and our special guest on episode 1, Little Man, aka Bippy. As I mentioned in the bonus episode, we'll be in my upstairs yoga room, so we may have a few visitors with us here and there. So welcome.
Yes, welcome. What an interesting time we're living in right now. So we're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it fresh.
Mhm.
I feel very spicy. I really loved your episode last week, and I'm so proud of you for delivering that beautiful message from you and your guides. I feel like so many people are going to benefit from it. I certainly did. It brought me so much peace. And I was like, no, I was not supposed to be there for that. I am coming in too hot, spicy, fiery, trying to tame it down and direct my fire in a way that, well, stirs up the change and rids out the old and gives birth to the new. Scorpio season, right, baby?
I was just thinking the other day, I had this flashback to you and me holding hands when we first got into the studio together, season 5. And it just sent chills up my spine because I was like, we have been waiting to be in person in our space, in a comfortable space. I just said to Andrew, this is one step closer. We're not fully there yet. I want it to be only the podcast studio. And I want it to have...
As I'm gurgling already.
And we're back, baby. But I have, since the day we picked our name, I keep seeing the neon sign, Frequency Broads. And I can't wait for that to be right behind us. So send us money so we can buy a neon sign.
No, just visualize it with us. It's like we don't even need money in this day and age. I feel like the things that show up, like you had something very serendipitous happen the other day with your money bowl.
Oh, yes. So speaking of we don't need money, and yet here I am putting a money bowl with a ticket that says $50,000.
No, we need money, and let's talk about this redistribution of wealth in a moment.
Oof. Yes. But yeah, I made the money bowl on Monday. I made the money bowl on Monday, 11/11. And the next day I go into school and this kid hands me a piece of paper. And now this is not uncommon if you're a teacher, but it hasn't happened to me in unprompted, probably a year.
Wow.
And he said, here, this is for you. And I unfold it and it's a drawn out $100 bill. And you know that the only thing on it besides the literal number and money sign, in God we trust. I forgot about that. In God we trust. I literally looked up and I went, okay, I hear you. You're playing a joke right now, but I am trusting that it's coming. So what did I do? I took it, put it in my money bowl and said, make this real, baby girl. And that's what we're waiting for.
I love that so much. One of the cards I just pulled, and I'm pulling from this new deck called the Tantric Dakini Oracle, brought to me by, well, it was actually a birthday present. I had a birthday.
Yes, you did.
Which Tara bought me a present, and I'm birthday gift for her. I'm gonna open it on here. What was I saying?
The cards.
This card that I pulled has just a bunch of skulls on like burnt up land and the moon hovering over a mountainside. And it's like cremation ground, meditation. And it's like really all about a change in perspective, which I feel like we are all being forced to have. Collective perspective shift can feel painful and jarring at times, but my goodness, if the last 4 to 8 years hasn't prepared us for this moment. Like we thought it was kind of interesting, and now it's about to get real weird.
It's getting so crazy to the point where like there is fear, right? I don't want to, something just to note, like my episode, and I don't think it came off this way, but just to clarify, it is not toxic positivity. Please feel your anger, feel your anxiety. Those are valid and they're useful and we need them. Do not shut them out. But like I said, you don't need to feel it every day, all day. You can take care of yourself. You can find joy. And then when the fight is upon you, bring that all up and be like, now I'm using this energy to protest, to fight, to do whatever we got to do. So just to clarify, not toxic positivity and saying that it's not scary or angry or anger inducing at all.
I'm glad you brought that up. And I think the other thing is maybe even the term light warrior may not be something you necessarily resonate with yet. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. And I think this message is really, your message last week was about, well, it was for the energetically sensitive.
Yes.
Whether or not you understand your full capacity as a light being yet, I mean, that's for your own discovery. And it's so interesting, the fear that arises from the unknown and like really pivotal changes happening in society and the world. But like, remember the moments where you crave the future and it's like mysterious and sexy and like you get to create it and you actually have way more power in what's happening than you're led to believe. So you can be seduced by the fear down two very distinct paths. And I choose the sexy seductress, one of pleasure and accepting the pain that comes with the dualities of life.
Yeah. And that's the card that I pulled, was the Magician in my herbal deck. So again, thinking about how we create our own reality, we have the magic. And, in my bonus episode, I talk about like, there's so much potent energy right now because the earth is amplifying, because there's all these shifts. And we've talked about it before, like,
I can't even hold that back.
That's your stomach just being like, let's go. Kundalini energy rising. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, malleable energy, like the burp you just awakened.
Well, we can't burp.
Well, yeah, the gurgle you've awakened. It's taking all this chaos, use it, find the magic. And that's what a lot of this season is going to be about, is how do we use these tools? How do we walk in society when we're evolving to 5D and getting ready to go beyond that, when 3D is requiring so much of us? We've never had to hold this duality, I feel, at least in our lifetime, as strong as we need to right now.
Oh, that's so true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ugh. And I think that's kind of a collective, like, so many people are like, fuck.
Yeah.
We know what's ahead of us. And we also are remembering the need and power in resting and caring for yourself. Self-care is no longer a luxury. It's mandatory.
That's funny because I was going to say to you, I want to do a self-care episode talking about like the 6 major components of self-care or categories of self-care with us in robes and slippers.
Tony Soprano style.
Yeah, hell yeah. Sipping on our tea, being like, hey, we're taking care of us. You take care of you. And in turn, that's us taking care of each other.
Facts.
Okay, should we do a little freak check?
I'm like,
and that way I can give you your gift.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I feel like I kind of gave my freak check that I'm spicy and fiery and not holding back. I think we've both kind of confessed to each other that we're giving very little F's. And we also at the same time care so deeply and being very selective with what we care about and when. I know.
He's like, ugh. He's feeling it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. Because it's this, again, duality of like not giving a shit and giving all the shits, right? It's the same fucking saying of,
Yeah, we're trying not to swear until 7 minutes.
I think
because
we're good.
apparently that's like a thing on YouTube. YouTube, like, come
we're
on,
not 7 minutes in.
let's mess with
Oops. But it boils down to like season 1. If you know, you know. It's serious, but you don't have to be, right? It's giving all the cares, all the Fs, because it's serious.
Yeah.
But not giving an F because you don't have to be that serious. Like what you're doing is intentional. Your energy is intentional. It needs to be that way because it's powerful. But also like, dear Lord, like just have fun with it at the same time. But it's very hard when the world be looking the way it be looking.
I'm not afraid to laugh and cry at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
find the beauty in it all.
I'm like, can I give you a gift?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so Victoria had a birthday and it was last week. Has it been a full week now? Just under a full week?
Yeah.
And she took me to this beautiful place. What is it called again?
Connect Wellness.
Check it out.
Or don't, because we don't want to.
Wait, no.
No, it's actually a really amazing magical
like,
place.
bleep it
Please
out.
go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. But I did my first sauna and my first cold plunge. And she sparked something in me that was so lovely.
Aw.
So I'm excited to give you this gift. I'm like, where is it? Oh. Okay, so let me tell you the story
Ooh.
about this gift.
Okay.
So I want to plug this store, Soulful, in Portland, Oregon. I have never been in there before. I was actually on my way to a different store and it caught my eye, and it was just like this little metaphysical crystal shop. And there's another, I'm just like doing all the plugs today.
There's a plug, babe.
I'm the plug, babe. I've always been the plug. I gotta tell you something after we're recording. It's not funny. I digress. Another plug is Dragon Herbarium in Portland.
Where we met.
Oh yeah. Fuck, I forgot that's where we met. They're incredible, and they're an apothecary, and they have a lot of herbs, and they have crystals, and they have cards, and they have all this. And this store, Soulful, is more crystals. They have like soaps and candles and just a different vibe. Both wonderfully like local owned. This was by two sisters, and I met one of them. And when I went up, she asked me like, oh, you know, what are you doing tonight? And I said, I was meeting with you for your birthday. And I said, actually, and I don't know why, because talking about being the plug, I hate plugging the podcast. I feel very uncomfortable being like, check out my podcast. But I said, actually, we have a spiritual podcast. And she goes, oh, tell me about it. So we talked a little bit. And she goes, I want to follow you. Girl, are you ready for this? I plugged in on her Instagram. Never heard of us before. FRE. Guess who was the first motherfucking one at the top?
Okay, that gives me chills.
I know. I wanted to tell you that on air because I was so excited. So I was like, oh my God. And she goes, I'm going to start listening. So I already forgot your name, but I'm sorry. I'm really bad with names. Okay.
It's true. Okay.
But I absolutely loved the store. Check it out. Soulful. We'll put it in the description. Same with Dragon Herbarium. And maybe not the Wellness Center because that's going to be secret. Okay.
We don't gatekeep.
Or do we? Okay, open up your gift, and we'll tell the people who are just listening what it is. Yeah, get that little, make it really sound.
For a babe who doesn't like ASMR, she sure likes to.
I told you it's the whispering.
Oh, yeah, true.
Okay.
Okay, do I open the card first?
You can open the card first. I mean, you don't have to read the card on air. It's a short card. But actually, I do want you to open the card. Because it's cute. I mean, if you're going to do it, girl.
Oh, it's very cute.
This is such riveting content. And it's mushrooms. It says mush love. And she picked a mushroom card. And I thought, oh, she has to look at it.
Thank you, love.
I love you. Mush love. I'm going to start saying that to you now. Mush love. Oh, like mush. Not mush. Like mush. Mush, like mushroom and much. Okay, I can read. I teach second grade literacy.
Should I open one first?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Now she's unraveling a gift. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
Cute.
Oh my goodness.
It's a chakra bundle, and it's got sage, palo santo, flowers for each chakra, and a selenite, and it's just so cute.
Gorge.
And not to say like
Thank
I
you.
didn't spend money on you, but I'm like, well priced. Soulful. Check it out. Is that what it's called?
Soulful.
Yeah. Okay, this one I thought was so beautiful. And
I've been wanting one of these.
I know. And she was like, Portland's rainy right now. And I thought, oh, this goes inside. And I thought, well, any bead of sun, this little beautiful goddess deserves all the rays. Okay,
she's a little tangled, but she is gorge.
Oh, love her.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I
Happy
have
birthday.
been obsessed with rainbows. Honestly, it's been like the only thing really getting me through
the weather.
life. Well, yeah, and just like the rain, and it's magical, beautiful.
And I have so many of the little ones around my house, and it really gives you the rainbows.
Oh my God.
So happy birthday.
Thank you, love. I love the moon and the star too.
Mhm.
Oh my God. I'll take pics of all the light.
Yes. Okay, so that's my plug, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm excited to check out this store.
Yeah, it's so good. You know what's funny? I was listening to The Bald and the Beautiful. Love that podcast. Check it out. Plug. And they did, in one of the episodes, they like gave each other a gift, and I was like listening to it, and I was like, shit, I really wish I could see that. Now I'm like, damn, now I'm those people.
Oh. I feel like so much came through to me today preparing mentally to record and like really remove my biases and my really strong feels and my thoughts because they're so charged right now. And anytime I go through this phase, it reminds me just how powerful it is to listen to someone who speaks with such conviction and speaks their truth as if it's your truth. And of course, it got me thinking about like religion and God we trust. And the morning of the election, I texted one of my girlfriends and I was like, wouldn't today be an interesting day for them to drop, and by them, like the Catholic Church, to drop the unedited version of the Bible, like the Bible unplugged, like the truth revealed, because there are missing chapters. And of course, there are interpretations of the Bible that are very divisive and justify the horrific acts we're seeing today. And it really got me thinking, of course, about beliefs and how we've said before, and I want to just keep saying this again, beliefs are meant to change. Your level and sense of integrity is not to be changed. It's actually meant to be cultivated. And there's a really big difference between integrity and beliefs. And I find it necessary to bring this up during this time because I think we're all kind of questioning people's perceptions and very, it's so black and white when it comes to who did you vote for? And I'm going to unfollow you if you support him or her. And it's like, oh, fuck. It's so important to hear other people's perspectives, even if the perspectives are so outlandish. For real, Pennsylvania, what kind of propaganda was happening out there? I don't know
why I was shocked, but I was shocked. And I hear you, and it's interesting to think about that because pretty much everyone I know is like, if you voted for him, I will not engage with you at all.
Yeah.
And I completely and utterly understand that. And if you do not have it in you, if you're not energetically tending to yourself, you're not going to have the energy to have these conversations. And especially when you're talking to sometimes a brick fucking wall And you're just like, oh my God. Like, so we are not saying that it is anyone's job to teach or to guide anyone else but themselves. However, when we can tend to ourselves, when we can tend to our energy, when we can really begin to find rest, then we do have the energy. That's that energy I'm talking about, to fight, right? I'm not talking come at this person guns blazing, because like I said in the bonus episode, they're not going to hear you in that capacity.
No.
But when I tend to myself enough that I have the energy to go, well, I'd love to hear why you believe that. Right. And shifting and this is something I wanted to talk to you about. I know I said it in the other episode, but the concept that there is no right and wrong. And I feel like, I think Jocelyn was saying that, right? In our dance class, and really thinking about that there is no right or wrong, because that is all perspective and beliefs, which can change. And when we start to tell someone their beliefs are wrong, their perspective is wrong, all they're going to do is anchor in harder to their perspective, because you're trying to shatter their reality. You are breaking this person's full reality and existence. So that's scary, uneasy. So what are they going to do? Hold on as tight as they can. When you can bring up these conversations with someone and say, well, why do you feel that way? Why do you believe that? I'd love to, not in a condescending way. I want to know why you believe that that's the right choice, and change the perspective to harmful or compassionate. I think about this all the time. If I go to a white straight male and I'm like, oh, well, I know, or even backtrack, money, right? Because that's where I feel a lot of people I know who have switched over to Trump really stand true in, is like, well, I'm going to get more money, and I'm going to get a tax break, and I'm going to get Trump bucks. And I'm like, okay, let's say that happens, which it won't, for us anyway. You getting money is not harmful to you. I can get that that's the choice you want. Is it harmful? Is that money going to cause harm on its way? Yes, because it's going to be coming out of public education, public health care, so is it more harmful for you to not receive money that you weren't receiving in the first place, or to take away children's ability to learn and eat and have a safe place to be, and for Social Security and Medicare? Like, when we start to look at it that way, what is going to have the greatest harm or the greatest compassion? People can understand that more, can break their reality, can break their perspective and go, oh, okay. Now I understand it. Now I can see a little bit more. They may not agree, but we're starting to ease into the reality because we're looking at it through compassion.
And it's also that get rich quick, but even though you're not getting rich, you just feel rich for literally 45 minutes until you spend it. And that where you spend it is probably feeding the rich even more. So it's this cycle of, you really have to stop and look at where your money's going. And
where your money's coming from.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're even doing this money bowl. Yes, I'm calling in large amount of money, but my main protocol is, may it harm none on its way. I'm not stealing from others. I'm not asking for someone to die for me to get the money in inheritance. I am asking for this abundance to come to me with compassion.
Well, I think we all really are seeing the distribution of resources and wealth be a major issue. And it's, I've been seeing a guide all day, bebopping in and out. And I have to really pause and say something to your comment about open content or content.
We're back in the game, ladies and gentlemen.
Open contact versus World War III. And we love Bashar. Bashar put out there was a clip and it was basically saying one
prediction or another.
Yeah. One outcome. Candidate was the word I was looking for. was going to lead to one or the other.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say open contact is going to happen regardless of who is president. And it is a really good reminder that open contact is very difficult when you are in survival mode and you're not able to rest and you're not able to tend to your spiritual practices and your healing and the core of yourself that allows you to open up the channel to receive messages and to be perceptive and receptive. Survival mode completely takes you out of that. And my prayer is that my prayer is that basic needs are met for every single human being living on earth. Regardless of how much evil they carry in their spirit, we all deserve our basic needs to be met.
And I can bet you when they are, you'll be less evil because you're actually getting your needs met.
100%.
And that's not everybody, because there's plenty of people who have their needs met and are
they have a very different agenda. They're just ugly.
Ugly. But you know what that makes me think of is similar to when I give tarot readings, or if you go and get a reading, the first thing they should say, and I say, is this is not set in stone. If you continue on your current trajectory, this is the outcome. Now, he did give us, if you choose this, if you choose the male, you'll have World War III. If you choose the female, you'll have open contact. And Victoria's right. That doesn't mean definitively or now. What it's doing is saying, if you continue on the current trajectory from when he is first elected, it can lead to this. But we will have check-in points along the way to pivot away from that. Similarly, with if she were to win and open contact is along that trajectory, but there would be plenty of checkpoints for us to choose something differently. This is why it is so important to tend to your energy, to rest, to be able to listen, because then you'll hear the checkpoints come in and go. And you know what? We're already seeing that. We are already seeing people who voted Republican, people who were for Trump, come out and say, oh, wait, that's not what I thought he meant by that. They're quick. And I'm not saying everyone, and I'm not saying that everyone will, but it's those opportunities to go, oh, wait a minute. This isn't set in stone. It doesn't matter who I voted for. I still get to choose now. I still get to choose differently if I want to, change my beliefs if I want to.
I had to do a compliance training for work on Monday, and I was thinking a lot. It was like sexual harassment specifically, and they were talking about the Me Too movement and just how recent that was. It feels like it was, we were basically living it out our entire lives. It was just openly more women were able, and men, and whatever gender, were able to talk about it. Or non-gender.
All of them. People.
Yeah, what is the Me Too movement 2.0? I'm very curious to see, because what I'm seeing is, in 4 years, rest assured, Trump is going to retire in Florida, if not in like 6 months after he's like elected
tomorrow.
In office. He's going to be living his best reptilian life. And I really want to touch on a comment I made last season, and I tried to comment on what I had said.
Oh shit!
And we happened to just like have people come into the school, and we just could not. We could not keep going. Yeah, and so I really want to highlight, and I know I'm kind of going all over the place because I want to share what I'm seeing, and like Tara said, it's just one possible outcome. That's why when you go to mediums, it's not 100% set in stone, and that's why it's vague sometimes not. I'm like, where do I go? Where do I start first? I love reading, listening to books, audios, whatever, about Pleiadians. There's a book that essentially a chapter was channeled by like the reptilian king. And he basically explained that the reptilian race or species was one of the original Earth species and one of the most powerful because they understand Earth. They understand how to be in communion with Earth. They understand how to use the sun to charge, how to lay their bodies in the earth to charge and rest and acclimate. And they carry these very specific key codes that allow us to be one with Earth and to receive the key codes from Earth. And so genetically, a very long time ago, like probably 2000 plus, well, even longer than that, they started to experiment. And by they, I will say the Anunnaki experimented with the genetics of reptilians and started to play around. And I've always made this note that we all have a little reptilian in us because we need it. We need it in order to survive on Earth. We need it to be able to have that exchange of energy. And there is so much propaganda out there about reptilian political figures and evil reptilians, and their original source, their base DNA was never such a thing. It was really messed with and altered with because they are one of the most powerful species. And so I know you feel very strongly, and I've always felt such a prominent reptilian DNA come from you. And I never understood the connection between being such a loving, kind, compassionate human and having this reptilian component.
Well, I think for me too, what's coming through as you're sharing is you're saying the connection to the earth, right? And that we're not diminishing the channelers who are talking about reptilians in the political sphere who have bad agendas. We are made up of so many different star systems and pieces of DNA. The reptilian, just as you were saying, the connection to Earth, is the earthly understanding, which is that primal of survival. As a species, as any species, need to learn how to survive. As a human, we will always have a shadow that is fear in order to protect us and survive. That piece is our reptilian piece. And that shadow is not about, as we've mentioned before, shunning it, telling it it's not worth it, not listening to it. It's about saying your instinct for survival is real and important and valid. But do I need to be in survival mode right now? So yes, there are people who carry a lot of that primal survival codes within them, which means they could be more greedy. They could be more power hungry. Not all of them, but they could be, because that is the premise of survival. I need to have more. I need to be in control of more, or I will not be able to survive. So it doesn't boil down to evil bad. It boils down to, can you integrate your DNA? Can you use the key codes and learn to read it and say from your highest consciousness, whatever star system that may be, from my highest timeline, from my most authentic and compassionate frequency, where do I need to have this primal survival? And where do I get to say, you're valid, but I don't need you right now?
Yeah. I just find it really important to talk about reptilians because there's so much fear around them. And I think we're going to see more and more stuff come out on social media, basically alluding to this evil character of reptilians. And that's not it. And I think it's really important to, if you feel called to, go explore what a reptilian really means to you and your perception of reptilian, because it's not evil necessarily.
Yeah. And I think we've talked about, and I still feel true in my soul, that there are beings. Oh, okay, wait. And I feel like we're getting into a whole nother sphere of the galactic neighbors, and I want to spend a whole time on that. I do. So we're going to get more into this, but I saw a video just before you got here where this guy was talking about, and I'm paraphrasing, but I am really like almost speaking word to word. So we'll share it too, so you can hear it from his words because it was very powerful. But he talks about the concept of all one, right? We are all one. And if we are all one, then that means there is only one. There is a singularity, which means we're alone and we're lonely. And we're just a lonely God that spread out so much and fractured so much to forget that we're all one, to forget that we're a God in order to find some companionship, right? And we talked about how it fractured and it fractured, and some were that shadow part, some were that I have to feed off of fear. So there are these, I don't want to use the word evil, but there are these entities that are here to feed off your fear. We're not saying that they're not. We're just saying that those are, at this stage in the game, in my perspective, individual beings, and they may come together as a collective, as an organization, as a group, but those are individual beings. So to say that, to take a galactic race like the reptiles and say all reptiles are bad, no. Those who have not been able to integrate that primal force of survival may have gathered together to cause harm, right? And that's what we can see in the political sphere, or in the music industry, or in the, these A-list people that we have here that are looking for greed and power and fear and kind of cultivating that because they found each other as individuals, not as a galactic race. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And what I'm really visualizing is that, each of us carries both of, like you already said, the shadow, the darkness, and the light. And it just expresses itself to certain degrees. And I thought you were going to bring up another Bashar video where our minds were completely blown, that he basically was like,
oh, I didn't know if we were ready to get into that one yet.
I think we have.
Okay.
Yeah, it's real. We're being real this season. The Anunnakis and the Pleiadians are essentially the same. And I'm like, I can't even like say it out loud without being like, oh. Because in these Pleiadian books, they talk about, oh, we were really bad once upon a time and we're here to do good. We're you from the future. And now we're like kind of this, like, we're living it out in these like the past and the future. And we're like, fuckers.
And this may sound so fucking crazy. And I get it because I feel like it still hasn't, because it's such a break in the matrix.
Yeah.
Right? Because we talk about time is not linear. So what we're saying is Anunnakis from the past, right? These very primal, like.
They were gods. They came to Earth and they acted like we're God.
From the past are affecting us now because time is not linear. So they're playing with us now.
They are very much still.
The Pleiadians from the future are also playing with us now. So if you really think about it, it's just me from the past. Oh my God, literally like childhood me being a little bitch acting out right now, where I have my higher self, which is just my future self being like, hey girl, we got this, hang in there, right? That's all happening on such a large galactic scale. But it's also at the same time, it breaks the matrix. Like we can talk day in and day out about how time is not linear, but when you really try to piece it together and see that like every single one of it is us, then what are we fighting about? It's so crazy. But I think, and again, I want to give this its own episode, so I'm going to segue a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But I think when it comes to all that's about to happen after this election, and now we're going to be pre-recording some of this, so we may be behind on what is to come in these next coming weeks because it seems to be happening quite quickly. Remember that you get to choose every moment of your life. You get to be the creator. And as I said before, creation comes with play. That's how we get creative, is to find play and joy. So we need to find moments of joy, moments of rest. So that way we have the energy for those moments of fight, because energy is moving fast and we need to start taking care of ourselves. And I think a lot of this season is going to be about really being specific on, I said this to Victoria, I feel like they're giving me like military like directions. They're like, get your squad. And that's why I said light warriors, because they're like, get your squad and tell them to, but it's not like, get the guns and do this. It's like, get in meditation and anchor in light, you know, but it's so like, they're not mad. They're not like angry, but it's just like,
neutral.
You have a fucking job to do right now. And it is so crucial. Every single one of you taking a deep breath. They were like, girl, take a deep breath. Every single deep breath you take is you taking action on the battlefield. So take care of yourself, right, Pippi? He's like, I'm taking care of myself right now. Cleaning my whole coat.
It is a really interesting experiment to be neutral when you feel so strongly one way or the other, and then to maintain that neutrality because you know that's how you can best serve. And neutrality doesn't mean the absence of one feeling or another. It just means that you know how to regulate your emotions and come back home to yourself in a way that does not disrupt the people in your life.
Oh, that is so true. Neutrality does not mean that you're lacking the emotion. It's that you allow yourself to process however that needs to be so you can make a clear choice as to what you do next.
We're taking back the English language one word at a time.
We're taking back everything.
Yes, bitch. Yes,
we're taking it all back. So welcome to season 6. We are freaking taking it back. We are taking back our power. We are taking back our energy. We are taking back our fucking country. We are giving back our goddamn land that doesn't belong to us. There's a lot that's going to be coming in the next decade.
Let it implode, not explode.
Yes. And so it is.
See you next week.
Do. Oh.